Parents, it happened. It never fails. We're always some type of setback, but that's okay. That's okay. I am so sorry that we are not able to meet through Zoom this evening. Once again, if you don't know who I am, my name is Thomas Cote. I've been a teacher at Heritage for close to 8 years. We're coming up on my 8th year in education. I started out as a beginning teacher at Heritage, teaching 3rd grade, and now I am an education support specialist. So I support teachers and students in trying to close the academic achievement gap. So with that, one of the things that I started last year was the Academic Enrichment Academy. With the Academic Enrichment Academy, it's specifically designed for our 5th grade parents. I want to share what we share with your students every day with you. Year after year, I've had conversations with parents, and they say, you know what, Mr. Cote, I would love to help my child at home, but I can't. I don't know. I can't. You give me a standard, I can't really break it down. And after year after year after year of saying that, you know what, I said, I can change this. I can share what we have here at the school with my parents, and so that they can work with their students at home. In 2019, there was a report created that said parental involvement and parental intervention, so that we provide parents with intervention of content and standards, will increase student achievement. And I believe that. So I took that and I took that report and I created the Academic Achievement Academy last year. When I didn't think it would be I didn't know how it was going to turn out. And last year I was able to I had 8 focused students, and their parents would show up on Tuesday nights consistently. Those 8 parents that showed up consistently throughout the second part of the year, their students showed double the amount of growth that they had previously shown in the 2 previous years. And that was in the midst of COVID. So I'm going to do the same thing this year, but I've changed it and I've evolved it. I've made it better. And I built the website. I spent the summer this year saying, what do I need to do? What would be easier for the parents? We still need to meet. We need to have that face-to-face contact either through Zoom or in person. And I'm hoping that throughout this year, we may be able to get more approved. We may be able to do these live at the school. I would love to do that. I'd love to see everybody face-to-face. But this year, I built a website. Let me kind of walk you through what the website looks like. Of course, we have our Bibb County School District vision and mission. Each student will demonstrate strength of character and will be college or career ready. And this is why. This right here is the vision of Bibb County, and why I believe in the Academic Enrichment Academy, and why it is important for our parents to show up on Tuesday nights to help their student. It's so important. Mission to Bibb County School District the mission of the Bibb County School District is to develop a highly trained staff and an engaged community dedicated to educating each student for the 21st century global society. So, of course, that's on my website because I believe in the Bibb County mission and vision. I am from Bibb County. I graduated from Ballard Hudson in Southeast High School. Southeast High School is no longer around. And however, this is my home. This community and this people in this community are my people. And I believe that it really takes a village to raise our babies. And our community is different than any other community in the country. And our students need a particular learning. Our students need their family. And we are family here in Bibb, and especially here at Heritage. And I want to bridge that gap where it just feels like it's just teachers and parents on 2 separates. I want us to be together. I want you to understand what we're teaching your students so that you can have those academic conversations with them at home. I promise you, parents, if you hang in here just a couple of weeks and you start employing some of these techniques I talk about in our academic enrichment, it's going to change everything for your student. So each week, we're going to have a weekly schedule and a Zoom link. And the Academic Enrichment Academy schedule, this is all of the scheduled meetings. I'm going to have to reschedule because of this one tonight. I'm so upset. We did a practice run last night, and I did a practice run this morning. And lo and behold, when it comes time to do tonight's, what happens? Zoom says this is not available. Um, so that's okay. Next week we will jump right into Teams and we will go from there. But this is the schedule for the remaining part of the year. We're going to be doing a lot of milestones talks because parents, um, you know, I've never been a big fan, and most teachers, believe it or not, are not a big fans of standardized testing. However, it is inherently responsible and required of us to make sure that your students are prepared for this testing and that they can do their ultimate very best on this test. So we do talk a lot about milestones and how you can help your student prepare. And we're not talking about what you can do the night before. We're actually talking about the content in this class. We're going to talk about the math. Dr. Riggins one evening will come in and we are going to look at that parent math milestone study guide. We're going to go through that study guide with a fine-tooth comb. And we're just going to go through each little thing to figure out what's going on. The next thing that we're going to go through is our science and our ELA portions of the milestones. Once again, Ms. Blizzard, Ms. Fitzpatrick will come in. We're going to just grind through that ELA packet, go into it with a fine-tooth comb, and just see everything that your student needs to know. So, across the top of this website that I created is the Weekly Standards and Lessons tab. So if you click on that, it's going to take you to another portion of my website. And this is where I will be placing your weekly standards each week. It's a beautiful thing, parents. And this week's a little different. Most weeks it's going to have that little 13124. So January the 31st to 24, which is the next tab over. It's going to be just like that. But so I'm going to go ahead and put them on this page. And I'm just going to continue to add to it each week. So, for example, this week's ELA standards. All right. Not only we're going to give you the state standard, and then I also give you the learning targets that your student's responsible for and the success criteria. And there's a difference. You're going to be like, well, this kind of sounds the same. No, but it's very specific. And I'll show you why it's specific when we get down to the math portion. So this week's standard, the first standard that you can see and read is describe how narrators or speakers' point of view influences how events are described. So we know that narrators and points of view deals a lot with who's talking. What are they telling in the story? How's the narrator saying? We may have two different narrators, and they're both giving their own point of view. We may have one narrator, and they're acting like another person. What is that called? So we have to teach students when they're reading content and they're reading stories, that it's important to understand who's telling the story. Is it the author? Or is it a character in the story? Or is it two different characters? What's happening with the dialogue? And yes, at 5th grade, we get into that much detail. And so you see how I've highlighted learning targets and success criteria. Why learning targets is green, success criteria is blue. Well, green always means go. And I like to highlight that green because we are in the process of moving, okay? And blue it's a blue cool color, and we've gotten where we needed to go. So yes, it's color coded for that because I'm kind of like that. I like color code, and I like putting things in order. So a learning target tells your student, and that's your student telling me and being able to tell you at home what they're learning in the classroom. And then the success criteria is also the student saying, I will be successful when. So here's a great example. Let me scroll on down to our mathematics. And here's a great example of success criteria versus learning target. So this week's Dr. Standards and Mr. Brooks learning targets are make a line plot to display a data set of measurements in fractions of units. 1/2, 1/4, 1/8. Use operations of fractions for this grade, which means 5th grade, to solve problems involving the information presented in the line plots. So they're going to have a problem with the line plot, and then they're going to have to use their understanding of how to add, subtract, multiply, divide fractions to be able to complete the line plot. So there's a lot of things that go along with this. But what I really, really like is the learning target setup. Learning target says I can create a line plot that displays 1/2, 1/4, 1/8 date sets of measurements. Now, let's look at the success criteria for that learning target. I know that I'm successful when I create a line plot that displays 1/2, 1/4, and 1/8 date sets of measurements. So the student's saying, I can, and then I know I'm successful when. So it's important that they describe to you the learning target, that they know their success criteria, because you're knowing that they're learning if they can describe that to you. What are they doing? I know I'm successful when this is what I'm doing. It's very clear that we have to be and push that information forward this way. Now, at the bottom of our lesson plans, not only on this learning part, I do include our lesson plans from our teachers, so you know exactly what they're doing in the class on a day-to-day basis. So you know that on Monday, because if you could look at here, this is our ELA plans. You know, on Monday, they're going to be reading the literature anthology, A Window into History. So that means we're going to be looking at the textbook for a window into history. We're going to go into a writing exercise, and then we're going to go into a grammar exercise and a spelling exercise. So the same thing on Tuesday. We're going to get back into, we're going to read another text that goes along with our anchor text, which is the anchor text is the base text upon which the entire standard is built around. And then the paired text is on Tuesday, which is a boy, a horse, and a fiddle. So parents, with our lesson plans, we build more into our lesson plans that we may not be able to get to. So, but our teachers are prepared so that we're constantly keeping them working and learning within the standards that they're required to know for that week. So, with our math, once again, I've increased. Now, one of the best lesson plans that you will ever see is written by our fifth grade teachers, Dr. Riggins and Mr. Brooks. They do such a great job collaborating and providing content for your students with mathematics. So I have the learning targets, the mathematics, and all the content here that they're going to be working on in class. And then we are going to be moving forward so that you have access. And I'm going to cover this every night, every Tuesday night, just so you have a brief rundown. At the bottom of the weekly standards and lessons, there's going to be a tab that says weekly resources. And we're going to hit that weekly resource tab. And look what I have gone through and I've done for you this week. ELA resources. I've added videos and I've added anchor charts. Anchor charts are what we use in the classroom outside of a video. It's the old school video. Instead of having a video, we would have a teacher would draw on a big old anchor chart and give you information and say, write this into your journal. Well, this is the same thing. A lot of times we do digital things now, but these were so important. So you remember our weekly standard for ELA was, we talked about what? Author's point of view. And see, I've given you, the parents, a reminder of it with our resources here. First person, when we're talking about me. Second person, when we're talking about you. And then we're talking about third person. We've got limited and we've got omniscient. So I wanted you to have these resources, the same type of resources we use in the classroom, to help you with your understanding and the terminology that you're using when you speak with your kids at home. Now, same thing with mathematics. I've given you a video. Mr. J is an excellent educational videos. He does a great job explaining line plots. And then I've also given you a line plot anchor chart that helps you understand it. Remember, when we're building line plots, we're going between whole numbers. So there's numbers in between whole numbers. So there's fractions. So we know in between 0 and 1 is 1/2. So what are these dashes? And that's what your students are going to have to be able to tell us. That is what your students are going to have to be able to create. That's also what they're going to have to be able to explain. So it's going to have a variety of things. To continue on our evenings, we're going to talk about Bibb County links. I'll be adding new links to this page that Bibb County suggests. I also have links for Georgia milestones. So if you hit the Georgia milestones link and then you hit the button on that page, guess where it takes you, parents? It takes you to the student resource and parent guide for the milestones. So I've tried to build your website in the fifth grade website to make it user friendly, but also for our parents to be able to go in and say, "Ooh, I got a question about that. Let me ask Mr. Cote about previous week's anchor chart." Because parents, these meetings are designed for us to communicate, not to sit and listen to me talk and you just sit there and listen. I want you to ask questions. The only way, and if I don't know the answers, I will get the answers for you. Okay. Um, it works best in Tuesday nights, Academic Achievement Academy. I promise you, parents, you will not be disappointed. Every evening from 6 to 7, we will most likely start using Teams instead of Zoom if Zoom is going to be this much of a hassle. Last year it worked great. This year it doesn't seem to be working so good then because I need it to be reliable. And then there'll be one or two nights that we do it live and in person. And I'm hoping we can do that in COVID backs off a little bit. We may have masks for everybody to wear, but I just want to tell you how appreciative I am. Once again, how sorry I am, and I am so thankful that you're here with us. If you get a chance, leave a note for Ms. Klein. We are very excited to have her as our principal. She's been our assistant principal for the last 2 years, and we're blessed for her to be the principal right now, moving forward. And we are here to support you in everything that you do for us. I look forward to seeing y'all on Tuesday night. We will be making it happen through our teams. We will definitely be moving away from Zoom. Thank you again, parents. I look forward to working with y'all this year. Hey, it takes a village.